Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another Captain's Log. This will be Captain's Log, what is it, 04, this is 10, 23, something like that, for April 10th, 2023. I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to talk about a couple of big remakes that came out this year so far, and the controversy surrounding one of them. So let's cue up the music, and we'll get right to it. First one I want to talk about is Dead Space. Now, y'all know I just finished my second series on Dead Space. It was a hard mode run with everything maxed out. Excuse me, all the equipment maxed out, all the weapons fully loaded, the suit of armor, the engineering suit was fully loaded, everything was pumped up to the max, and it was just a fantastic time, great time. So, this is a year for her survival horror making a huge comeback, and I'm hoping this is a trend that continues on into 2024 and beyond, with Dead Space 2 being redone afterward, and then 3 hopefully being reworked. I know we've talked about this before, but overall a fantastic game, one of the best releases I've played this year. And then all of a sudden, a couple months later, we had another game drop, another remake of a classic. And it's funny because the one that dropped later was the one that kind of paved the way for Dead Space, and that, of course, was Resident Evil 4, the 2023 remake. So, now I just finished my first playthrough on it, and what a fantastic game. They took the spirit of the old game and just amped it up quite a bit. Now, there are a few things missing. There are a few things added to it. But overall, I think the game is far better than the original. And the original is great. The original is a classic. I loved it. Every bit of it, from the opening cheesy dialogue between Leon and the two Spaniard cops to the end game fight and the escape. And everything in between, it was all amped up to 11. The combat feels great, a lot of fun. The fact that you can now run and gun instead of you have to freeze in place, aim and shoot like you did in the original, that's a huge upgrade. The weapon merchant is fantastic, and the stuff that he offers you, the upgrades and the weapons and all, just totally a lot of fun. They took this game, this classic game, they kept it true to its original self, but they modernized it for, current gameplay standards and so forth. And I think that was awesome. Graphically, it's beautiful. The sound design is fantastic. The dialogue, the voice acting, great. Just love it. Absolutely love it. Now, of course, there's controversy, because there's always controversy when a new game releases, right? And there's been a couple controversies with this game so far. And one of the biggest ones is the voice actress Lily, I can't remember her last name, who played Ada Wong, actually got driven off the internet due to hate from Resident Evil fans. Now, you guys, and I know none of the people that listen to me do this kind of stuff, but just pass the word out there. This is unacceptable, okay? Now, I played through the game completely. I interacted with Ada several times, and while her delivery is far different from the original game's Ada Wong, it's not bad delivery, okay? She sounds tired, remorseful, almost like she doesn't want to be there, and not like be there in the recording studio, but be there in that village doing what she's doing. She feels like she feels like she's semi-broken and trying to contain that inside while she maintains that gruff exterior. Other people have said that the quality of the recording isn't as good as the other voices, and that shines through from time to time a little bit. And that's not on her, that's on the production team and the sound guy, So if she was in there for in an ADR session that was different from the other guys or used different equipment or something like that, you'd be amazed the impact that can have on a piece of work, a cinematic piece of work, whether it's a movie, television show, or whatever. Those ADR lines, if they're not done right, they can sound a little off. Now, I never really noticed anything out of the ordinary that bothered me about it, so, it is what it is. But some people claim that it bothered them. And even if it did have even if it was a little different than everybody else's, it never triggered me or took me out of the game. So, I don't know, whatever. Now, a lot of people are calling the game woke, which is a word that's gotten overused in the last few years. Now, I am definitely not a progressive person. I'm an older guy. I'm in my 50s, and I have very conservative values and all that. And it does aggravate me when things get woke to the point of being ridiculous. Case in point, Hogwarts Legacy having a transgender bartender was annoying. It took me right out of the game. And I've talked to friends younger than me that have played it, and they're like, yeah, as soon as I run into that person, I'm like, what? This is weird. It feels like somebody made a mistake. So that's woke. That's goofy. That doesn't make any sense. But Resident Evil 4, they're claiming it's woke because you can no longer see Ashley's panties when you're lifting her up, and she no longer makes, you're a pervert comments and stuff like that. Louise never refers to her hoo-hoos as ballistics, and Ada Wong isn't overly flirty. Okay? You guys got to get out a little bit. Anyone who's complaining about that kind of stuff, that's not woke. That's just, they took some of the cheese out of the original. They left the meat, but they took out the cheese, and that's fine. I had no issue with that. It didn't impact me in a bit, and I would have never noticed it were it not for Twitter. So thanks, Twitter. You're always pointing out the worst of humanity. So, and somebody made a comment about her being underage and all, but no, she's not underage. She's an adult. Okay, but even so, get out of the house a little bit, guys. Go talk to girls. You don't need to look up Ashley's skirt, or flirt with Ada Wong to be fulfilled. I don't know what to say on that. It really floored me. So, we just had an update last week for the game that also had some controversy, surprisingly. Well, it's the Mercenaries update, and this was in the original game. It came out as a free DLC, and it's basically a timed mode where you defeat hordes of enemies to earn a high score. At first, you'll have access to certain weapons, so if you want to score big, you'll have to learn which weapons suit which situations. In the beginning, the village stage is available, but the better you play, the more stages and more content you unlock. There are time orbs that you can, to extend your remaining time, use melee to take out enemies or defeat specific powerful ones. Collecting glowing green time orbs will extend your time, so grabbing them should be part of your strategy. So you want to look for those because they'll give you a little bit more time. Again, it's a time thing. I think to get an S+ rating, you need to kill 150 dudes in the time frame, and I believe it starts you with like 2 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. So it doesn't give you a lot of time, so you really got to be out there. You got to be inflicting damage, doing your melee kicks and all that, and getting those time orbs to make it work. 4 characters are available: Leon, Luis, who are the other two? Krauser and I can't remember the guy's name, but some guy in a tactical outfit. Let me see if they tell us who it is here in a second. But yeah, I think he was in the Resident Evil 2 or something. I don't remember where he came from exactly, but anyway, he's not a character in the game. But these are the 4 characters you have. You have 3 places you can play. You can play in the village, you can play in the castle, you can play on the island, and each one will unlock based on things that you do. The characters will unlock. You can only start off as Leon, and you start off in the village and you progress from there. And from my understanding, you can get the hand cannon, the best magnum in the game, by beating all 3 of those on S. So that's something I'm going to look into. I'm going to go in and play it. I've never really messed with the mercenary mode too much, so it's going to be interesting to see what's up with it. Now, the controversy that surrounded it is because Ada Wong and Albert Wesker are not available as characters, and they were in the original Mercenaries mode. Why that is, I don't know. People say they found them in the code, the lines and stuff, whatever. I imagine they wanted to get this out in a timely fashion before the buzz died on the game. It's only been out for, a couple weeks. And, the gaming community moves on pretty quick. You finish a game, especially a single-player game, you move on. Now, this game does have some legs to it because you can go in and do a New Game Plus, which I'm currently just starting on. And that's kind of fun because you go in with a beefed up body armor and weapons and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun to go in with a New Game Plus run, and you can do several of them. You can go harder difficulties. There's a lot of collectibles and stuff like that. So it definitely has some staying power. But still, if you want to keep people engaged, you keep giving them content. So we got that Mercenaries. Also, it looks like we're going to be seeing a Separate Ways DLC. And Separate Ways was a DLC for the original game that played through from Ada Wong's point of view. So that was kind of cool because you got to go through the same locations and whatnot, but playing as her character. And I guess you meet up with Leon at various points that you do in the game, but it shows you how she got to those places. So that should be a lot of fun when that comes out. Excuse me. Now, another thing that came out last week alongside of the Mercenaries DLC was microtransactions, and everybody's losing their mind over it. It's the end of the world. It's worse than the genocide that came with Hogwarts, or the genocide against the Ukraine with Atomic Heart. It's far, far worse. It's microtransactions. And to be honest, they're not bad. So the game has a mechanic that you can upgrade weapons. You can upgrade their, take guns for instance, their firepower, their reload speed, their rate of fire, and the size of their clip or their magazine, right? These are the 4 things you can upgrade. And then when everything's upgraded, you can buy a ticket, an exclusive upgrade ticket, because every weapon has an exclusive upgrade that does something fantastic to it. Might make it deal a ton more damage, might affect the rate of fire. I don't know, I haven't looked into all of them yet. I've just kind of fooled around with it a little bit. Well, now you can buy tickets, from the PlayStation Store, Steam Store, whatever. You can get those weapon exclusive upgrade tickets. And people are like, well, that's pay to win. Well, guys, this is a single player game, so, cool your jets a little bit on it. Yeah, they're in there. I haven't bought any, and I really don't plan on buying them. I mean, they're not, they're $3 for one, right? And you could buy a pack of 10, I believe, or 5 for $10, which would normally be $15. So, but in any case, it's just, okay, it is what it is. If you want them, get them. Nobody's going to stop you from doing it. The argument is that it's predatory, and that if people buy them, Capcom's just going to keep doing it. Well, Capcom's done this before, if memory serves me correctly, and the world did not end, I mean, Capcom already offered a DLC pack with, the better version, a digital deluxe version or whatever, that had some costumes and cosmetics and a couple starting weapons in it that I bought it was the deluxe edition. I bought the deluxe edition because, hey, cool. Start off with a couple new weapons and, some neat costume options. It's kind of fun. But as far as these tickets go, yeah, I'm not really interested. It's kind of fun grinding out and getting the spinels or spinels you need, whatever they call them, to buy the tickets from the merchant. And they cost like 30 or 40 a piece, so they're expensive, and they take a long time to gather that many up, especially if you're not aware of the cost of them and how many spinels you get per run through. So you can be going through nickel and diamond and saying, oh, I'm going to buy a gold token, or oh, I'm going to buy this stock or this weapon. Yeah, well then when it comes time to buy one of these upgrade tickets, you don't have enough, and then you don't make enough to buy it on that playthrough, so you have to kind of roll it over and get it in the second or third playthrough. And yes, I am speaking from experience. I'm on my second playthrough, and I'm too short for buying my first ticket. So, you know, it's a little frustrating and all that. And yeah, the temptation's there. You know, so, I could spend $10 and I could upgrade 5 weapons, but it just kind of takes the fun out of it for me. And so my choice is to not buy it. And if you don't like it, your choice is to not buy it. I mean, it is what it is. There's a lot of guys out there, a lot of people out there who have families and lives that don't give them enough time to a game that they love, that they may want to beat, max out, whatever. And if $10 to them is worth more than the time it would take to grind, then by all means spend your $10 and get those tickets and upgrade those weapons and have fun. You bought the game, man. Enjoy it the way you want to play it. I am so sick and tired of everybody on the internet, especially Twitter, telling you how to play a game, how to enjoy a game, what you should do, blah, 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 blah. I have never seen such madness in my life, and it just makes me crazy some days, you know. I think, like, if we all didn't have that ability to have discourse that way, and like, you know, if it was just a group of friends hanging out or a group of gamers that really don't know each other, because let's face it, that's what, you know, these internet spaces are, Twitter and so forth. You know, you may form little alliances and little friendships online and all that, but it's not like real friends in real life, so to speak. At least not for a while. It takes a while to build that trust, especially online when you don't know who the hell you're talking to. But in any case, you know, if I was hanging out with a group of guys and they all started yelling at me about microtransactions or whatever and telling me how to play, I'm like, yeah, what the hell are you guys talking about? You know, and a little crack in the mouth will stop that real quick. You know, I mean, that's the way we used to do it back in the day. You know, you talk crap, you get smacked, and you move on. So yeah, that's the latest of the drama surrounding Resident Evil 4. So I don't know what the next big dramatic game is going to be that drops. I mean, maybe Dead Island 2 will have some drama around it. Maybe Jedi Survivor. I'm sure Diablo will, because yeah, those guys always have drama when they release a game. You know, you just can't have Blizzard release a game without some sort of drama around it. At least it seems that way lately. So we'll see. We'll keep looking ahead and having some fun here. So I'm running through a second time on Resident Evil right now. I'm just playing through on my own, skipping cutscenes and all that. Nothing I'm filming. This one's just for me to enjoy. I'm kind of speeding through it a little bit. I want to get my guy beefed up quite a bit. But I plan on doing a New Game Plus run through with commentary down the line, which will be fun. And maybe we'll look at Mercenaries mode a little bit too. When the DLC drops, we'll check that out. As far as Separate Ways goes, I'm very interested to see what that's going to be about. Will it be a free DLC? Because I'm pretty sure the original was a free DLC. Or are they going to try to, you know, piss off the internet by charging $10 or $20 for it? Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? So anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. If you found this enjoyable at all, please leave a like on the video down below. It's always appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell for notifications. I'll see you guys next week on the Captain's Log. Until then, peace.